got a monster inside of me. You better watch out if you ignite me. The road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me. And he gets claws real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling this war. Never getting bored, loves the blood and
Let's
always
go!
wanting more data from the source. They don't really understand until they feel the force apart. If you start shit, you'll be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped, you'll be chewed up.
Welcome back to the Hall of Fame College Football and Horns Down podcast joint show to post-game reaction show. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, along with my co-host, Kchris Griffin from the Horns Down podcast. The Sooners are 10-2. They finish up, 69-45 win over TCU at home today in the Palace. And I don't know about you, Chris, but I seem to hear like a gagging thing going on up, maybe coming from up just a little north of here. You think? I mean, can you hear it kind of starting?
It's pretty loud. It's pretty loud. It's pretty loud. That's what I'm gonna say. Not gonna say anything further, but yeah, man. I'm hoping we see that, and I'm hoping we kind of see it down south too, with those boys down south, if you know what I'm saying, that like to come to Dallas, Oklahoma, as I've called it in the past. But yeah, man. Let's get to it. Let's talk about this game, man.
Yeah, they couldn't make it easy on us, and as we're seeing on some of the folks here in the welcome everybody to the show. Glad everybody showed up, but Unk's in here already. Wanting Freeman replaced. We're hearing some stuff. We're hearing some stuff about that, and then obviously little concern with the defense, but God bless Billy Bowman, right? Another big play for him. This is a big play defense. I think this is the biggest thing that you have to look at. They're not where they're going to be in a year from now, and 2 years from now, obviously, but I think they're definitely headed in the right direction. What I want to kind of reiterate is that this isn't a finished product, and it's still 10-2 this season. This is a good way to back up last season.
Yeah, if I just may go ahead and just jump into it. I mean, honestly, the defense. I mean, hey, grade F for frustrated, right? F for frustration, because it was just overall a pretty bad performance, honestly, just simply because it just was simple mistakes too. I thought early on in the game you were better against the run, you were better against stopping that, but as the game wore on, you saw guys just kind of holding those not being able to shed those blockers and basically trying to arm tackle the guy. So we got to figure out that whole counterattack, because that's what they tried to run against us. Couple of times just caught us, being pretty aggressive or whatnot. Then you saw us go to the too high safety look, and I thought that we caused Hoover to really, kind of play out of rhythm a lot today, a lot. After the Gavin Freeman muff punt, that kind of gave them some confidence, gave him some time to get a rhythm in, allowed him to do that. But, as everybody's saying in the comments, it wasn't complimentary football today. We can't blame it on Levy. We can't really pinpoint it on the offense. It was a simple fact of OU just defensively just wasn't on their A game today, wasn't even on their B game today.
Right. Yeah. And it is what it is. I think that offensively, they definitely came out firing. Kind of a bit of a surprise for me to see Dylan Gabriel out there in the game. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was a concussion. That's the quickest we've ever seen a player come back from a concussion with this training staff. But hey, he balled out. Aside from a couple of throws that you wish you could have had back, he really did get it done. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I was coming with it. Yeah, he did underthrow a couple, and that last one that got picked, I mean, I didn't understand that at all, even making that throw at all into the wind, as they were talking about on the broadcast. But I don't think it was as much about wind as it is you just having to huff to really rip it to get it out there. You got to get that ball out faster, and I think that's the bottom line with Dylan when it comes to the deep ball. You need to be a beat faster.
Yeah, last year it was a lot of coverage sacks. This year he's seeing it, but he's seeing it just a tad bit too late. And so I'll be honest with you. Over the year, I'll say this: Dylan has cleaned up a lot, but it's still sometimes it's still some of those. I mean, but how should I say this? He's cleaned up a lot in the intermediate games. He's not overthrowing guys in the intermediate game. He's not missing assignments, different things like that. But fact of the matter is the deep ball, the true deep ball, as far as being able to score touchdowns, like the pass that he had to Gibson, he's been too inconsistent with those things over the past 2 years. That's just my opinion. Honestly, I think some people will back me up on that. It's just last year to me it was just a thing of he's taking coverage sacks, guys are not getting open, this and that, yada yada yada. However you want to go about that. This year it's just been the fact of not seeing the deep ball develop early, and then two, not having that arm strength to really get it there and lead those guys. Because Andre Anthony, there's times where Andre Anthony, Farouk,
when they get in their break is when you need to throw it. That's when you got to do it.
Yeah, Nick Anderson. Who else? Obviously, Brennan Thompson. I mean, he's underthrowing those guys.
Yeah, he was, and pretty consistent on deep balls today. Coach says consistently. He underthrew a few, but here's the end. The end game is that he still gives you the best opportunity to win right now.
Yeah,
I mean, and he still does. He's still gonna not go out there and make a bunch of bad mistakes. Now they did make some. The good news was that they had given themselves enough cushion to make those. And guys, before we get too crazy about just beating the hell out of this team, they won today. They're 10-2. They're a couple of plays away in 2 games from being undefeated right now. I know that pisses a lot of people off because they're not. But the truth is, I don't think that anybody wants this team in the college football playoff getting smoked again. Mm-hmm. And if that ended up being what happened, then what do you look at it then like?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, here's my thing. Look, okay, 69-45. That's a basketball score. We all know that. Fact of the matter is, it's simply this right here. Okay. Mm-hmm. Again, after the Texas game. Okay, after the Texas start, UCF, you're 7-0. The expectation changed. We were like,
sure, they did, and I think that's a big part of it.
And that's a big part of it as well. Now, you saw the things that happened in Stillwater and in Lawrence, and you're, basically saying you're still kicking yourself because you're like, hey, the West Virginia game and this game right here, where the hell was this at the entire time? Because that aggressive play style is what this team is made of. And just because Andre Anthony went down does not mean that you have to go away from that. Now, the thing is, today, to be honest with you, it kind of is what it is. 6-7 to 10-2. That's the overall thing. That's what matters. Because I don't want to necessarily call it a true rebuild, but it is what it is. I mean,
wait. It was a true rebuild. The people that are acting like that's not what it was. That's that ridiculous. That is that ridiculous narrative that was out there that he got left at 11-2 program, when that's not what got left here. Mm-hmm. There was a handful of guys that had any time on the field whatsoever that were left here at the start of last season. Most of those guys were gone by the time this season rolled around. They've changed over what he said, 85 guys or something like that total in the program. This was a complete rebuild. It's not done yet, but this is where we are. This is, and the truth of it is, and I've said this a bunch of times, that needed to break anyway. We've seen what happens with Lincoln, but it needed to completely break and be done with, so that you didn't just paste it back together and paper mache that shit and paint over it. You can't do it. It needed to be ripped down to the studs and rebuilt all the way there.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, the year that USC had this year is what we would have been facing if everything would have stayed the same. Stat guy is on us. Thoughts on the fumble incompletion call. Shark Bite sitting there a couple away from 8-4. I mean, hell, last year we were saying we were a couple away from being 10-2 again this year. I mean,
listen, they lost 5 games by freaking 1 score, and 4 of them were by 3. You know what I mean? A lot of plays happen. We could sit here and play this game all day. We can sit here and play this game all day.
Yeah, I mean,
the bottom line is that they're moving forward. Lincoln Riley's football program isn't moving forward. They're stuck in freaking neutral.
And the reason why I say that the expectation change is not just because of the Texas game. Honestly, let's be real. Coming into here, Vegas had us at 9-3. Every Texas fan imaginable had us at 7-5, 8-4. Things like that. Some of them would even say 9-3. I mean, 9-3 was really kind of the
people that are saying that OU is going to be Nebraska when they get to the SEC. It's the same stupid shit all the time.
Yeah, no, I mean it's the same stuff, but I mean it just kind of is what it is. I mean, the thing is, I think that the main focus after any type of TCU discussion is simply this: were you happy with this? No. In the first half, I'll be honest with you, there was a couple of plays they should have had or whatnot, but that's just the way the football game goes. But the thing is simply this: you're 42-16. The first half of the game, it's not necessarily lights out, but you're playing a damn good game and you look dominant. You get what I'm saying? So the game, the score, if you would have told me 69-20, 69-20-25, something like that, I'm like, okay, that's
Nobody
fine.
Complains. Nobody complains.
No. But the fact of the matter is that one of the touchdowns, there's 2 touchdowns that you got to think about as well to take those points off. One, you got all your second string, you got freshmen and all the rest of them in there. Ami Asigo got caught looking in the backfield, bust on that play. Second off, we got to start with the Gavin Freeman muff punt. My big problem with the special teams.
Why is he still in, man?
Yeah. I mean, something has to happen, because I understand you want to be aggressive, you want to be all of that, but he's not thinking clearly, because why you're telling everybody else to move, but you go and still try to touch it. It makes no sense. Like, let it roll. It doesn't matter if it's at the 5 or the 10 or the 1. We're moving the ball with relatively with a lot of ease.
It's like he just doesn't know what to do, so he has to do something. You know what I mean? It's those guys that, that they play great on the playground, and then whenever they get in the real games, they just don't get it done. It's just weird. You know what I mean? And it's, to me, I hate it that I know that he's shown flashes at times over the last, since he got here, that he could be a weapon. But when you have to depend on him, he's not. And so, to me, I don't understand why he's still in there. Why they're still having him return punts. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Go to both of James Thrice's. Go to the early one too. Yeah. BV came in and had to rebuild. He had to field 39 scholarships year 1 and about 30 or more in the second year.
That's right. I mean, and he's got almost 30. He's got almost 30 recruits this year. I mean, what are they at, like 28, 29, something like that?
Yeah.
So, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And the bottom line is, they were on the field a long time in the third quarter. You're right about that too, James. And they even had said this on the broadcast, on which Tim Brando kind of bugs me on the but they were talking about it on there that, these big leads aren't huge in college football. We know that. We've seen 17-point leads will evaporate, 21-point leads will evaporate, 20, it can happen. The good news is that you didn't see the offense really falter. You had the 1 interception, but then other than that, they kept their foot on the gas. I need to get into the stats here, but I mean, to me, I think that the way that you saw the stuff that we want to see and that we've been bitchy about whenever they haven't done it, which is when the defense plays really good, the offense doesn't. Or, and when you need the offense, a lot of people have complained about the defense having to win a couple of games here and there. Well, sometimes the offense is going to have to do it too. This is the trade-off that you're going to have sometimes. And again, this isn't a finished product by any means.
And go to Infidel's comment, because he's been on that since this thing started. He said, story of the game is why this defense is not getting better down the stretch. Nichols held them to less points, and so did every other team they played. And coach says, "No, you're good." Coach says, "I'll say it again. wins this time of year are important. A W is a W. Yeah, and I get that. I get both takes. I get both takes. I kind of disagree that that we've regressed or we haven't gotten better down the stretch. I think what it is that I mean, honestly, it's a combination of things because honestly, today was the first day that you saw everybody back and playing in their normal roles. You know, most of everybody was healthy. So, you know, we could talk about earlier in the year. We can talk about now. Hell, earlier in the year, we had Justin Harrington. Imagine the season that he would have had at Cheetah. You know, you're able to keep Dolby. You know, because I was telling my uncle about Dolby. One of the things that I really appreciate about him is that no matter what role he's been given, he's been able to ball a bunch. But he's playing he's playing like he's still at NEO, to be honest with you, because he hasn't really been given a position to focus on, as everybody thought that he would have coming into the season. So, I mean, the thing is, you got guys that have been just, you know, injured, and I mean, you saw I was kind of shocked to see, Gentry. I was shocked to see Gentry out there today. So I mean, that was pretty good. Only problem I had with the offensive day is that we would snap the ball. Yeah, no, that's a good take. That's a good take.
A little bit. I don't have a problem with that either. I'll give you that. But yeah, just to kind of go through some of this. And look, guys, Dillon Gabriel, 24-38, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have the interception, but he had 3 touchdowns. That's a good day. I don't care what by any measure, that's a hell of a day. Gavin Sawchuk, 22 carries, 130 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's a hell of a day. We finally have a bell cow running back that you can depend on. That was a lot of the issue earlier. And then as far as, you know, Dillon had even coming off of that head injury, 7 carries, 36 yards, another touchdown. Tawi, you know, didn't get a lot of carries, but he had a touchdown too.
Yeah.
Drake Stoops, another 100-yard game, 12 receptions, 125 yards and a touchdown. You know, he just catches those important balls, man.
Yeah.
He just catches those important balls.
Let's talk about let's focus on this game and kind of really break it down. Let's go offensively first. I think, to me, it's not necessarily Dillon. I think honestly it's the offensive line. The offensive line has played better. Is that because you've put in a couple of new guys? I really like what I see from Sexton. I think Sexton, with a full year or with a really good summer underneath his belt, is going to be
played very well.
Yeah, I think he's going to play very well. I think our tackles will be I think our tackles could be better next year. But I thought Sexton played really well. I thought that Caden Green played well.
He's still playing well. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line has played better, and they're opening up holes. And I think that Sawchuk only had one run where I was like, "Oh, you picked the wrong hole." He was trying to follow his blockers, but if he would have bounced back inside, probably is still going right now as we talk. So I thought the run game for the most part was good. I thought you were good up front. You gave Dillon a lot of time. You didn't put him in scenarios where he needed to run. I thought on the little speed option play, I thought he could have probably took it home or got a couple of extra yards if he wouldn't have kept looking back, because the DN was on his tail, but he wasn't catching him. That was going to be a shoestring tackle. That would have had to be the other player that was coming to the right. But I mean, he slid, he made the right play, and that's all that matters. This was a game where honestly I thought Farouk would be a little bit more involved, but you didn't really need to, because the deep ball was there early and often. They were putting guys in the box and they were leaving them on islands again. If you guys have heard me on the SEC Connect, heard me on Jason's podcast, you've heard me on my podcast, I've said it. I still do not get why you're playing Texas. Why are you putting those corners on an island? And I know my good friend Landry Burdine from TCU told me, he said, you know, there were a lot of plays that you could point to that lost us the game, not just that one, but I tend to say you can't leave those corners on the island. I think their DB, their secondary is pretty young, so I know that's one of the reasons why we tested them. my only knock on Levy today was maybe not seeing so many. What are those? I somebody in the comments correct me, but the play where he stacks those stacks where there's a delay.
The little screen,
Well,
play.
not necessarily the screen, but the stacks where you have the guy, the one guy just standing there, look, and he's running a hitch, and then you got the other guy who's basically running kind of like a wheel route almost off of that on that concept, and he's basically going, and it's a go. So I wasn't necessarily, I was a fan of it whenever we had field to work with, but when we got down there to the goal line, I was like, hey, you're running the same play every time, but it was effective when it needed to be, and I mean the play calling was good. I can't really say too much about it. I thought, like I said, I thought
609 yards of offense, folks. 609 yards of offense. You had over 200 yards of rushing, which is a rarity in this season. Big time there. You had 400 passing yards, 609 yards, guys. I mean, I don't really know what else we're supposed to say here. Now, what I would tell you is, and Lori, come on now. Good grief. Target, you're going to bring up Grinch and then Dan Lanning. They just went 10-2. They just went 10-2. Nothing makes OU fans happy. Nothing does. No, that's it. Look, guys, I get it. Everybody is ready to see them be championship level contention. I get that. We all are. And it's been a long time since they've won one. I understand. It doesn't happen overnight. They went 6-7 a year ago, and we're talking about we're actually talking about a team that we expected them to be ready to be the national champions this year.
Mm-hmm.
It just it doesn't compute even.
Yeah.
I understand that the goalposts were moved when you beat Texas. I get it. The truth is, this freaking conference is trash. It's not good. The best teams in it aren't good. And Texas, Oklahoma, Okie Light's done their thing at times this year, but everybody's got warts. Everybody in this conference has warts. It just is what it is. And the bottom line is at some point, you're going to continue getting better. I don't know what you would have expected, Lori, about the defense when they didn't have any defensive players. It's a new system for everybody. They have to get bigger on the D line. I think that in the end, you weren't seeing as much of the guys in and out. BV talked earlier in the year about we played 30 guys and you haven't had a bunch of drop off. Well, you stopped doing that a long time ago, right? You had the same guys in all the time. You really weren't getting a lot of rotation pieces going on, particularly on that up front.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that has a lot to do with it. And then look, on the second level, without Stutzman in the game, a lot of those linebackers just aren't getting it yet.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that may be because you don't really rotate them very much either.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, and let's go ahead and talk about the defense. I think that one thing that and I'm eager to see what Lehman and I could have to say about it for sure. But in my earnest opinion, I think that the reason why we've had the trouble that we've had these past two games is simply because what you just said. Our linebacking play. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm excited about the guys. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there too. Hopefully you guys have great holidays and safe travels to everybody as well. Like, subscribe, follow, do all those things. Thanks for watching, you guys. But like I said, look, I think the linebacker play has kind of took a dip these past two games simply because, let's just be honest, I want to play in the Big 12 championship game. I still in my heart of hearts think that we're going to make it, but it would be lovely if Stutzman could get maybe 2 or 3 weeks just to, heal up some of those nagging injuries because he's not 100%. I think that Kip Lewis is flying to the ball. Kip Lewis is doing a lot of great things. it's still a learning curve for him. I think he's a little bit. I think he's that much ahead of Kanik, but there's still a learning curve for them at linebacker with what Venables is asking you to do. So, I mean, that kind of leads me to believe that you really do need to get a defensive coordinator in here, or at least somebody who can coach the linebackers, so you can have more of that CEO role to kind of see what areas are we really deficient in, all the rest of that stuff, and where do I need to help, But at the same time, man, it's good to finish 10-2. It feels really good. Sometimes good ain't enough, man. I'm just saying, like, it ain't just, man, where we could be right now, what we could be talking about is different, man. But yeah. But Infidel, look, I agree with you too. Kansas, we should have never lost to Kansas, should have never lost to O State, because O State and Kansas.
No doubt about that. I agree with that too. And it sucks that they lost to Oklahoma State. Hey, look, I hate that. I hate it. But this taking shots at everybody all the time, I mean, good grief.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, Coach says, I'm out of here getting depressed listening to how bad OU football is. Love you guys. Back to the TV, watch some football. Love you, Coach. We'll see you soon. Look, guys, the defense is going to get better just because of the time that they're putting into it, the guys that they're bringing into the fold. You're getting 6 blue chip defensive linemen coming in this recruiting class at minimum. Okay? At minimum. But this is, Hank, you are not wrong. This is a dysfunctional fan base. 10-2, we put up 600 yards. Yes, the defense struggled. There was some stuff that they needed to do better. And against a freshman quarterback, we can sit here and do this all day. In the end, this is not a finished product. And if you think it is, you still, if you go back to the Clemson time when he went to Clemson, or you can go back to whenever Brent Venables first got here too, they weren't great the first year. They weren't great the first year at Clemson. They weren't great the second year at Clemson. They were really damn good the third year and really, really good the fourth. It gets better. It will get better. Do I think that you could stand to change the defensive coordinator? I don't know. Look, we're on Ted Roof now again? I don't know. Do you really think that it's Ted Roof that's running this defense though? Because no. I don't.
I think bottom line, players have to really commit to understanding what is going on. I think it's a combination of things. I think you have a couple of I think you have some guys who are missing assignments. Then I think you got some guys who are just plainly missing assignments. Then you have some guys who are missing assignments simply because they're trying to help somebody else and do their job. You get what I'm saying? One thing I would like to see next year us transition into is kind of having our calls a little bit earlier until we actually get into games where it's necessary that we rotate and all the rest of the stuff. You get what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the comment. Hank BV got his first 10-win season the same year that Sark finally got one. And you know what? That after they won at Iowa State, shout out to Nick from Nino's Corner, but he was going around on Twitter talking about we got our guy, we finally found our guy, and I was like, I guess we got ours too. So let's talk about this right here. Let's get on a lighter note, y'all. Let's get on a lighter note, okay? So two things I want to talk about. First off, can we talk about how amazing Billy Bowman has been? If Billy Bowman is not in the conversation for being an all Big 12 player, not all Big 12, all like first team Big 12, that's crazy, man. Six interceptions, 3 pick sixes on the year.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
Yeah, listen, 3 picks. They lead the country. That's the other thing, is that as bad as you guys want to sit here and make this defense out to be, they're the leaders in takeaways in the country. They bend a lot. I mean, today they gave up a lot. They gave up a lot. They gave up a lot of points. It is what it is. But in the end, it's kind of what the 3-3-5 is going to do. You're going to give up some yards in between the 20s and stuff like that. What you want to do is you want to make sure you get a lot of takeaways. They do that. I think that the biggest thing, you're going to have to get more pressure as we move forward. You got to get more pressure, and that comes from the front line. You're not going to do that without the big boys, The run D was bad at times today. Look, but again, I'm not going to sit here. Guys, I'm not going to sit here and continue doing this. I'm not going to sit here and continue doing this and taking up for this team. It is what it is. They're 10-2.
Jason,
you realize
we on a lighter note. We on a lighter note, bro. We on a lighter note.
And you know where we are? Probably in a freaking New Year's Six Bowl now.
Talk about the Billy Bowman return. That was freaking amazing.
Dude, it was too. I thought he got face mask there.
It looked like he got face mask.
Ripped him around.
Yeah, when I looked at my fiance and said, man, if he returns this for a touchdown, I was like, that's gonna be that's a highlight play. I mean, like, that's something you put on film and say, hey, this guy can do all of it. He could do all of it. Now, second thing I will say, okay, and again, I'm gonna bring up his name, Nick. Nick brought up a interesting point. He said to me, he said to us one day, he said, hey, who would have thought that the national championship runner-up would be fighting to be bowl eligible in its second season, in the second year two. And that's something that's interesting. And for me, I get what y'all want to say about the defense. I was sitting there when it was 42-16 saying, you want to kick a field goal today? No. All the smack, all the noise that they were talking after last year, all of the stuff that they had coming into this year, Brett Yomark and all the rest of that.
Oh yeah.
No, I wanted to hang 70 on them boys. Well, you damn near did. I wanted to send a message like, hey, F the Big 12. We out of here. Y'all can have it. This is your king. This is who y'all want to win and send messages to us. No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I mean, look, and I mean, we can sit here and we can say plenty about that too, because look at the way that things happened in Stillwater. There wasn't just one bad play. There wasn't just one no call at the end of the game. That was the one that gets the most pub from everywhere around the country. That was egregious. There was at least 3 other egregious misses.
Yeah.
And then they just weren't calling it the same way. You can say whatever the hell you want, Okie Light fans, but that was bullshit. Fine. Give them that one. Fine. The Kansas game, you saw a lot of the same kind of stuff. You even saw some stuff last week at BYU that you're like, what the hell was that? You know?
Yeah.
It is what it is. It is what it is. This conference has they've been wanting to kick OU and Texas out. They're getting them out now, but one of them is going to get in. I think Texas wins tonight. I don't see Tech going in there and winning in Austin. I just don't see it.
Can we back up real quick? Can we back up to something you said? The fact of the matter is that the Big 12 didn't care about that BYU game. Why? The fact that you let a BYU, who we know has all the money in the world, for every obvious reason, can't play on the field like that. That's bad. And we're not the only team that's faced that, but you can't play on the field like that. Big 12 has to. I mean, I know that they're talking about they're going to redo the field and they're going to start from ground. Big 12 got to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Got to figure that out.
Yeah, they should have to. They should figure out a lot of stuff, because here's the deal. Then what I've said to other people from other programs that, being like, oh, you guys shouldn't be saying that, blah blah blah. It's not about the officials. You know what? You can say that if you'd like, but I'm going to tell you, Roy, I would think the Cotton Bowl. I would think the Cotton Bowl, because OSU, they're not going to. They're going to have 3 losses. So, and 2 of them to a lot worse teams. So,
yeah.
But I think the Cotton Bowl, they're projecting Cotton Bowl against Alabama if Alabama was to lose in the SEC title game, which there's a measuring stick game for you. Again, Look, no, the folks that were saying that kind of stuff from these other programs, it's like, look, if they're going to do it, if they can do it to Oklahoma and Texas, they can do it to anybody and for any reason, that they want to. And you got K-State people that are just convinced that they're getting screwed, over on this tiebreaker stuff. And the tiebreaker stuff is wacky. They've made quote unquote, clarifications for the last 2 weeks.
It feels like they've been just winging it for the last 2 weeks. It's like it's this rule, that rule. This guy makes it in. This team makes it in. I'm just like, I don't understand it.
Yeah. Look, yeah, and you're right there too, John Doe. No doubt. Big 12's lucky we didn't leave 10 years ago in Nebraska. Absolutely. And the truth is, they've been trying to. There was multiple times they almost ended up in the Pac-12. They almost went to the Big Ten at one point. This is the latest time that Oklahoma almost left. And you know who you need to blame all that stuff on, but that's the Big 12 too. When you allowed Texas to pull that shit with the Longhorn Network, that ruined this conference.
So let me ask you this question right here. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Let's shift to that. Honestly, let's stay right here. What does it take for OU to get into the Big 12 championship?
It takes Texas winning tonight, Oklahoma State losing tomorrow. If that happens, they're in automatically.
You said it takes. Say that again.
Texas wins tonight. Let me go in and grab that. I've got that.
Yeah, go ahead and share that screen if you got it.
Yeah, let me grab it. Just a second. But the easy way, Texas wins today, Okie Light loses tomorrow. If that happens, Oklahoma's in. Where is that shit?
Which is so stupid to me because you're thinking to yourself, well,
absolutely.
If OSU gets their third loss, or if Texas get a second loss, we should automatically be in because you've lost 3 games and we beat Texas. Correct. So
right. No, that's what I'm saying is that, yeah, it's because here's the deal. What happens with, and this is according to their stuff, of course, but let me get rid of these comments real quick so everybody can see it. And then I guess I need to get rid of this overlay also. All right. So obviously, yes, if Texas wins on Friday, Oklahoma State beats BYU, the Cowboys are in. So if Texas wins tonight and Okie Light wins tomorrow, it's over. They're not in as well. Now, if Oklahoma, having already won today, and Okie Light loses tomorrow, OU's in. That's over. If they were to both, this can't happen. It looks like K-State's got to be out now. If Texas wins, K-State's out completely. Now, if Texas Tech wins tonight, Texas could still get in if 2 of the 3 6-2 teams lose. So that would mean Texas, if they lose tonight, they need Okie Light and K-State to lose tomorrow. Then it's Texas and OU.
Yeah.
Okay. If Texas loses and 2 of the 3 6-2 teams win, which is more likely actually, because Oklahoma's already won. If one of the other 2 teams wins and UT loses tonight, then you got multiple scenarios. Apparently, it's like over 100 different scenarios that they're talking about, which is just crazy talk.
This is crazy.
Crazy talk.
That's crazy.
Right? Yeah. So in the end, and here's the thing, it shouldn't be that hard to figure out because of the original stuff was talking about and I get where they're at. They're saying that because Oklahoma State didn't play Texas and K-State didn't play OU, then even though Texas beat K-State and Oklahoma State beat Oklahoma. So really that should still put them in there. Is there no possible Bedlam rematch? Yeah, there is. It would be, I think Kansas State would need to lose tomorrow and Texas would need to lose tonight. and that should put. And I don't know.
I kind of want all chaos, anyways. I want
I think it is all chaos. I don't even know that that's the case. To be honest with you, there's got to be something, John Doe, but I don't know what it is. Because they're saying it's like a million of them. Yeah, they met in the back room of a dispensary on those type. A bar. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Okie Light loss. Okie Light has to lose, but in the end, what you have to hope for is that Oklahoma State loses tomorrow because Texas is going to win. Texas Tech ain't going to beat them.
I kind of, you know what, Jason? I had Texas Tech tonight. Man.
Do you? Well, I don't know that that's a good thing for Oklahoma, but you know. But that being said, and I said this on my preview video last night, that look, if Oklahoma doesn't get into it and Texas doesn't get into the college football playoff, I'm good. I don't care.
I'm good either way.
I just don't care. So it is what it is. It goes to ISU record. OSU lost to ISU. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but there's a million ways apparently that I don't even know that it's always just that, James. I don't know that that's the only way either. Tiebreaker shit was so easy to avoid. Literally could have made in East and West and take the winners of each. Yeah, look. Yeah, well, I mean, they couldn't even. If you look at the first thing that they put out in August, it just. I mean, here it is right here. Look at how it's written. If not every tied team has played each other. If not every tied team has played each other. What the hell does that mean?
Mm-hmm. But see that point number 2 is what I was basing off of.
And that's what the K-State folks were pissed off about too, because if you jump down to that next one, that they're common opponents, then you get into, as of last week, it was UCF, Kansas, and Iowa State. So it would have jumped to them, and what was your record against them? Now K-State beat everybody, so they would be in.
Yeah.
When they changed that, I mean, I would not be that surprised if there ended up being a damn lawsuit over the shit, to be quite honest with you. I mean, it's that bad. People are pissed, and they should be, because you can't go change. I don't care if you accidentally wrote it that way or whatever the hell. You can't go changing the freaking rules up in the season. It just doesn't look good, no matter what you're trying to do.
That's true.
They're saying they didn't change the rules. They did change the rules. It's not a clarification. The rules changed. That's it. It's insanity. And I mean, look, Tim Fitzgerald from Go Power Cat, I mean, he's one of the guys that I respect most that covers this league. And he said, he's like, look, I agree that Oklahoma State, in the situation that they're in, deserves to be in over Kansas State or Oklahoma because they beat both of them. He goes, but that's not what the damn rules say. And he's right. He's right. It's not what it looked like. So it is what it is, man. It's just kind of root for TTU. Yeah, but what does it feel like to root for Texas, Rory?
go to Stephen G's comment. I think that's kind of what we need to kind of wind this thing down off of, anyways. About Lebby.
Yeah, apparently. What are you hearing about this?
Man, a couple of things that I've heard in the tea leaves is that, possibly Lebby stays at least one more year just so he can have his have a year with JFA. He wants to be with Jackson Normal. Then I've
heard other stuff though.
Yeah, Mississippi State has been a name out there. There's been a couple of things that he's been tied to. I mean, obviously, early on it started with UCF because if Gus left, but then Mississippi State has been a real thing. And I think I've heard some other things, but that's pretty much really kind of the more, I would say, juicy stuff. I wouldn't say there's any meat on that bone right now, but I don't know. I think he stays one more year, to be honest with you, at least.
Yeah, check it out. Was it written in crayon? Is it legal? I mean, it was written on the website, and that's ink. I guess it's typed, but it was shitty. Look, here's the deal. I don't know how you change it either way. And don't they have to like sign off on these rules or whatever? There's a committee or something. Somebody had to sign off on it from all these schools to say, yeah, that's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Competition committee, whatever it is. I mean, there's there's a lot of things that it just doesn't make sense. All scenarios with us in the conference championship game have us against Texas. No other way. Yeah, James, I think you're right there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. DG could smash some records if he follows Levy to another team. Well, here's what I'm hearing about Levy, though, is that the Mississippi State stuff is pretty hot. And it doesn't surprise me if this is where we are, because where am I going? I think that he wants to stay. I agree with you that I think he wants to get a year with Jackson. I don't think Jackson goes with him at this point, because if you're going to be the starter at Oklahoma or the starter at Mississippi State, which one do you want?
Yeah.
You know, that's I mean, come on. But apparently, and I've heard this a lot, is that his wife is pissed off about the whole thing with her daddy. And Parker's little punk ass starting all that shit up. You know, it just is what it is. It sorry, I shouldn't have said it. No, I'm gonna say it. I don't like him. I don't care.
Oh my God. Leave Pete Thune out of this, man. Leave
in
Pete
the
Thune
end,
out of this.
no, well, and here's it. He started it, but what screwed it up was Joe C. That was not, I don't care what anybody says, that was not a freaking prerequisite for him getting the job. They did not bring that up. They wanted him. They knew that that was something that they kind of chucked him under the bus when OU fans got pissy about it when they saw it on Twitter. That's what it is. And so
I mean, coming into, I mean, there it was something that was fake, but it wasn't something that was widespread news or whatnot. But I mean, it was in the tea leaves as well, as I like to say. It was in the tea leaves as well. So
look, whether or not it was, I don't think that it was out there. I do not believe for 1 second that was something that was said. Now, is that the whole thing? No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I also think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Levy catches strays week after week too.
Yeah.
And if he's ready to get an SEC job, I mean, is it the right job? I don't see it as a very good fit, because I don't think it's a good job. I don't think it's a good job.
Mississippi State is a good job in a sense. I think that the right person can get it going. We've seen what Starkville could be like with the right coach. You know, hey, RIP to the Pirate, but you know, I think Leach had something going over there, but it was just like, it was taking a while to really develop the way he wanted. But I think, and that's kind of the thing that you're sad to see with Will Rogers entering the portal and all the rest of that stuff, is that, man, him and Leach were about to make some magic. And I think this year would have been that. So again, RIP to Pirate, but man,
yeah.
But how much? Yeah, I mean, you know, all of this is just speculation. We don't really know. But like I said,
but you're hearing a lot of things, and I mean, I'm hearing from a lot. I know you're hearing a lot of stuff like that. I've heard Boise State. I think that's cool. I mean, that if you got an SEC job that's lined up, that you wouldn't take Boise State over that. Even though I think Boise State's a better program.
I haven't heard the Boise State thing, but I mean,
yeah. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is.
What jobs out there outside of Washington? I mean, not Washington, but outside of Mississippi State, what jobs are open out there?
A&M.
Obviously, that's not going to happen.
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
You know, there's a lot of Ryan Day chatter around that job, but I don't think that's going to happen.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think. Let's see what other jobs are out there. Let's see. I don't think that South Carolina is going to go. I think that they stay with him another year or so. Let's see. Well, the Michigan State job, he's not taking that one. UCF, I guess if Gus was to get one of those other jobs, maybe. But why would he want that now? Why would you want that now? I guess because you can recruit well and probably come win the Big 12. Maybe if that's his thoughts, anyways. I don't know. Glad you guys are wiping your feet. Thank you. Please make sure you have hit the like. We've got 90 folks in here. I haven't checked how many likes we got, but I know the last few we hadn't had as many. They did win today, so I mean everybody shouldn't be this freaking crazy about it. Shout out to Bucky's. Shout out to Bucky's.
Everybody put everybody in the comments or whatnot. Put your final thought for your final takes or any hot takes that you guys have on today's game. I want to see what you guys got to say as like a final take on the game. And the reason why I wanted to go into the whole Levy thing is because we're just talking about the future. I know Infidel and a couple other guys in the comments as well talked about, hey, it's a must that we get Billy and Stutzman back. Yeah.
Fatty.
I think man, I would love for those two to come back. I mean, I think you could get Stutzman back. Billy, I think Billy to me, Billy has first round written all over him. I think the fact that he's had to be kind of more of the administrative assistant, and the reason why I say that is simply because he's the safety valve. My uncle talked about this. He's the safety valve. He's a guy that Venables is like, nobody's gonna get past you, but I need you to anchor this defense on the field. And so, I still think that we haven't even really saw what he could truly be in this defense. I think we can next year with Peyton Bowen taking that step and being more mature in the defense or whatnot, and RSJ being out there. I mean, I think there's a lot of room for improvement. I think
PJ's going to get more time next year. You think? You're same thing with Samuel Mosijo. Some of these guys. Obviously, hey, look, I saw some good stuff out of the cornerback, the young kid, Washington cornerback kid, youngster. Why am I forgetting his name?
You said, Wagner?
Yeah, Josiah. He had a couple of good plays there earlier today. He was good.
It's gonna be cool to see him. And
I like Josiah too. He's a dog. That dude's a dog.
Wagner, Vickers, Gentry.
Love Bakari Vickers, man. Love the seatbelt. Peyton's gonna be great. And Peyton looked good today, right? Yeah. He looked good today.
Yeah.
So I think that to be honest with you, I think that you're gonna see a lot of maturity just from the guys that were freshmen this year that didn't play a ton. I think you're going to get a lot of stuff out of them in year 2 in the system. Just the same way that you saw a big improvement from guys like Danny Stutzman in year 2.
Yeah.
I just think so. And as far as Gentry, I would love it if Gentry, Quentin, we don't care what you think about it, bro. We don't care about it.
We're coming
about that 45 points. He's up there talking that. Yeah, whatever, bro. Go win tonight. Don't say nothing. Go win tonight. You better go win tonight, because if you
already know,
we're gonna be on your neck, bro.
I'm a thief.
We're gonna be on your neck. You already know it. So Levy did dodge the Mississippi State question. What did he say? Nobody said it looks the same. Quentin. Year 2 with them is going to be a difference in the way that they're playing is the point. Sophomores aren't freshmen, period. Yeah, and this is the one that we can just say back to you. 45 points, though. 34-30, though. There you go. What do you got?
Man, I just hope that they don't come out there trying to just pound the rock. I mean, they're going to have to let that quarterback rip it a little bit, because Texas will come out there and play with them for the first 3 or 4 drives until they start trying to open it up. And
you got to let Barron Morton go. You got to let him go, bro.
You got to let him go.
Yeah, because they're not going to stop him. Kip is going to be fun. I think Kip's really good, yeah. And I think that Kobe McKenzie shows signs that he's going to be really good, too. He makes mistakes, though, too.
I think Boomer
makes the most mistakes still is Jaren Kanak. I mean,
Boomer Sooner had a really good comment. That's a really good comment.
Mm-hmm. I wish the D would have played better today. Levy's play calling has been better since the Oklahoma State game All in all, I think we're getting better. They're getting better, but the difference in what you saw in the first part of the year versus now, it's obviously they don't look as good. But I think that you played the better teams at the end of the year too, right? Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you say you think you played the better.
You played the better teams at the end of the year. Obviously, you didn't have the first 3 freaking games against the Sisters of the Poor, and then you didn't have Cincinnati was trash. Come on, man. Iowa State is the one good game you had before Texas. And they ain't that good. None of them are that good, to be honest with you, though. None of them are that good.
Yeah. And go to Kim's comment. If OU makes the same jump this spring,
they're not going to pull the scholarship. That's silly stuff.
Okay, well, go back to Kim's comment. Bro. If OU makes the same jump this spring that they did last year, they play for a natty, and I get that, and because the thing is, this summer is key for a lot. There's a bunch of players that this summer is key for. Sawchuck needs to stay on this comment real quick. Stay on this comment, please. Sawchuck has to have a big summer. He needs to get with Smitty, and obviously he needs to put on. You know, my uncle's like maybe 10 pounds of muscle or so. He needs and to stay away from those hamstring injuries. He has to have a really good weight room. Not weight room, weight program with Smitty. He needs a really good summer, a really good spring, a really good summer. I think that Javonte Barnes, this is going to be if he decides to stay, whatever the case may be, him. I think Hicks is fine, but I think Smothers and Sawchuck have to have really, really good springs and summers. I think Javonte Barnes' biggest problem is just, like today, earlier in the year, he was a bit patient. You could say that was because of the injury or, after the surgery. But Javonte Barnes, he was trying to outrun his blocks and all the rest of that stuff. He has to just figure out between right here and figure out the vision. That's going to be his thing. I think, hey, Andrell Anthony, you're hopeful. He had surgery a week after the Red River rivalry game. So you're hoping that he can have a really productive spring, come back that summer and be running routes and stuff like that between spring and summer and be ready for fall camp. Gibson's another guy, and I'm talking about the offensive line. Obviously our Gibson, I'm talking about another wide receiver, but our offensive line can, they can improve too. You want Caden Green, guys like that, those younger guys. Defensively, it's just about getting those hog mollies, man. It's just about making the right decisions in the portal. I think you get Trace Ford back, and I think Trace Ford can be key for you next year. I think R. Mason Thomas, if he can stay away from injuries too, he showed some flashes here and there, not consistent though. But this summer, this spring is very vital to the success of this program going into the SEC, simply because you have everything in front of you, but it's what is your preparation going to be like?
Yeah. Yeah, look, I think they're better in a lot of ways. The defensive numbers just show that they're better, period. They're number 1 in the country in freaking takeaways. So keep talking smack all you want to, Quentin, but you guys ain't that good. You're not. That's all I got to tell you.
Yeah, they got bigger problems to worry about anyways. We're talking about the offseason now, and hell, y'all lose Worthy, y'all lose Mitchell, and then next year, okay, we're supposed to just worry about Cook and then broken down Nayor. Okay. But no, I'm not even going to give Quentin any the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to entertain him. He's let Quentin be Quentin. If you want to talk to us, you want us to pay attention, send that $1.99 that you got.
Send you $2 or something.
Send you $2 for
the. We're not listening to your ass.
But yeah, no, I think the progression on this program, I think we're in the right position. I think we're in the right spot. We're obviously not. We started 6-7, but we didn't start 5-7 and go 8-4. and then have to get to the 10 wins, So year 2, we've already did that. Wink, wink. But anyways,
yeah,
I think
Sark in his 10th season got 10 wins. BB did it in 2.
Yeah. So I think next year, man, it's that weight room is gonna be vital for a lot. And the thing is, man, you gotta have a lot of juice in that program because some of those young guys that are coming, man, and don't forget, man, the possibility, in my opinion, if Levy stays, to me, it's clear what you got to do. Gibson on one side, Andre Anthony on the other side, or you put Nick Anderson and Gibson on one side and move Farouk to the inside and let Petaway, let him and Petaway do their work, because those two guys right there can go and get it and work in that slot, and you're going to be dangerous just with that. Got to get a tight end. Obviously, got to get a tight end. We got to figure that out. We need to go and get somebody in the portal that can come in, either that or Helms and Llewellyn. They're going to have to step up, but we got to get a tight end. I think that was one thing that was really missing, because Stogner just wasn't a Stogner that we all expected him to be this year.
Yeah, no, and Stogner, you've got, and that's the thing. You're going to get help there. You're getting help at the positions that you need to be much better at. You're getting help there. And look, I know they're gonna turn over a lot of this defensive line in the portal too. You're gonna. So I expect them to be busy there. Look, I just see it happening. I see them continue. This is not a finished product. It's not where you want to be in the end. It's where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is.
Yeah. But I think that, like I said, contrary to the belief or the popular opinion, you told somebody this year that we would have been 10-2. What did they actually say? If you go back and roll the tape on any of my shows that I've had with any of the Texas guys,
every one of us said 9-3, 10-2. All of us.
9-3. You heard the haters say 8-4, 9-3. Be lucky to get
the
to
haters were saying 7-5, 8-4, all that other bullshit. Yeah. Yeah, so it is what it is. They're still ahead of schedule. And that's the bottom line, is that they're ahead of schedule. Is it where you wanted them to be once you beat Texas? No. Who said that? Nobody's listening to you, bro. Nobody's listening to you, bro. Yep. And that's the other thing. Even if you win, who's to say you get the playoffs? Because you may not. If Alabama beats Georgia, y'all are screwed. Y'all ain't going in. If Alabama beats Georgia, y'all ain't going in. It was what it was, and that's the whole deal. Is that getting an opportunity to play in the New Year's Six in year 2 after you go 6-7? It is what it is. I think that this is a step up from a year ago. Look. Everybody's clamoring for a natty. I get it. Everybody's clamoring for a natty. They're moving in the direction of it, but they're not there yet. And I don't think next year is probably the year either. I think it's 25. I've said that over and over. I think that it's 25. I think that a good year next year is probably 9-3, 10-2, because it's your first year in the SEC and you're still young.
Yeah. I mean, that's schedule.
And it's a brutal ass schedule.
Depending on how it pans out, or which games are this and which games are strung together or whatnot. I mean, you could face a pretty good gauntlet, because everybody in the SEC should be better. Auburn is a game that strikes me as one where we're going there, and I don't necessarily think they're going to be great, but at the same time, I think that, they're going to be better than they were.
Yeah. I think they're going to get better in the portal. I think there's going to be some stuff that you're going to have to wait and see who they get, who's there and who's not. But it is what it is. If the UCF kicker wants big NIL money, it's in Norman. Yeah, there's some kickers out there too. Yeah, they need to go get a kicker. Oh, man. I was worried. What do you got? What's your final thoughts, man? We're at an hour.
Man, my final thoughts is simply just right here. We got the win. At times, we looked like we were going to be dominant like we were early on in the season. Couple of key mistakes, couple of things, about 2 or 3 plays. I mean, there were times where I mean, honestly, man, we had a couple of interceptions in our hands. Things were going right, things were going well. You were able to stop the run and all the rest of that stuff. But I mean, shout out to TCU. TCU kept fighting. They kept pushing. So it kind of is what it is, man. You're 10-2. You finished 10-2, better than what was expected, but also you finished the right way as your last game in the Big 12, as you're on your farewell tour. So thing is, man, you put yourself in an incredible position to not only play for the Big 12 championship game, but also to play for possibly, put yourself in a spot to play in the New Year's Six Bowl. So the thing is that this season isn't over, and it feels a hell of a lot better to be sitting here talking about 10 wins opposed to talking about 7 losses like we did last year.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm going to leave it. Yeah. That's where I'm going to leave it. Is that 10 wins? You got 10 wins. You beat Texas a year after freaking getting killed in the Red River game. You beat them, and we know what happened in those other games, as far as especially the Bedlam game. But in the end, you won 10 games. You went from 6-7 to 10-2, and that's big. You have an opportunity to play in a New Year's Six game. You may end up playing against Alabama if they don't beat Georgia, which I'm not expecting them to beat Georgia. Texas better hope they don't. In the end, I do feel like that they're moving in the right direction, and I'm happy with that. That's all I'm looking to see. So that's where I am on it. Folks, let us know what you think about it. Obviously, you've been letting us know. And look, I think that you're probably going to see – I don't know that you see Dylan coming back at this point. It sounds like you probably don't. Hey, Kim, thanks for renewing your membership, sir. Thank you so much. I don't think that you probably see him coming back in that. I know that that's going to make a lot of people happy. I think in the first year in the SEC, you could probably stand to have a guy with experience, but that's just me. I don't know what's going to end up happening, but in the end, look, Jackson's got a big arm. He's not going to miss the deep ball throws, but again, this is a top offense, one of the top offenses in the country with Dylan at the helm. They're going to be better in the run game next year, which means that, it should be better. So I don't know. I really hope that Danny comes back. I think another year. I just saw with Sam. Sam was on, and he was talking about that he thinks another year with BV and even just getting some more size on him would definitely help him. They've been talking about him as like late rounder anyway, so I don't know why you leave if you're him. Same with Billy for that matter. If his stock goes up that much on 6 interceptions and taking 3 to the house, maybe, right? Maybe so. It is what it is. But in the end, I don't know. I just feel like it'd be better off if they hung around. But that being said, you can't really if Billy gets a first 2 days grade, I could see him going. I see that. I don't think he's going to get taller than 5'10", so I don't know that really matters any. Yeah. So it is what it is. If you get that, you probably have to take that grade. But as far as Danny goes, I think that he can only help himself. I don't know why you would leave. Tyler Guyton's got to go. I don't know that really matters to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Yeah.
I think, Sexton and all of them. Yeah, no. I mean, I would love to have them back. I would love to have all the guys back, but, we'll see. I mean, these next couple of weeks are going to be very interesting for OU. So, I mean, obviously the bowl game, everybody be excited about that. But even with that, it's going to be interesting to see, the portal, what happens and what goes on from there. Oh, my gosh. We just OU beat USC. That was a hell of a play.
That was a good game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a good game.
So yeah, man. Nah, go ahead and end it, man. We're
sounds good.
10-2, man. Feel good. Drake's shout out to Drake Stoops, man. It's gonna be bittersweet to see him go, but I think, man, what he's done, I think you can get even better, and that's gonna take some time and some work, man. But shout out to Drake Stoops.
Yeah, shout out to Drake, and he's, I don't know that he ends up getting drafted. He certainly has a career in the NFL. I think that he's just that kind of guy. You know what I mean? Y'all have ran DG away this D quarterback class, trying to take a chance in the NFL. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not trying to run him off. Shawty. We've already talked about this a lot. I'm not. I think even if he was to lose the competition with Jackson going into the season, then it's good to have that experience even on your bench because you're in the SEC and you don't know. You know what I mean? It's just, I think it's good. Does Stoops turn GA? No, he's going to go play. I think he's going to get a chance to play. So it is what it is. But I do think that he, I mean, you think about guys like Julian Edelman and dudes like that. That's what he's kind of like. The guy's a clutch dude, man. And for being a walk-on and doing what he did this whole time, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. All right. Guys, we appreciate everybody coming in here. We will see you on Tuesday for sure. If not before then, I will be on Saturday night snap count tonight with Coach I and those dudes. Make sure you get over there and check it out. If you haven't already hit that like button, please make sure you do. Quentin, you better hit both freaking channels for all the shit you're talking. Go hit the freaking like button, you jackass. Yeah, 3430. We'll go from there. All right, guys. Appreciate you all coming in, and we will see you on the next one.